Hello, this is Karia again, and I have another video for you today. Today I will be doing, going over my completed pages and just talking about, you know, random things. No notes today. Today just talking. So this is a book that I got from my, from the funds I received from patrons over on Patreon, and there'll be a link up there, and they help support the channel and make all these videos possible. So anyway, so this is a mixture of completed pages and works in progress, of which I have plenty. This is a work in progress that was supposed to be done for my Halloween color along, and I'm still not finished with this, but it is coming along. It's just not done because I'm me, and it's not done quite yet, but it is here. And this I used this for my Inktense review that I did. And let's see here. And that's the other thing that I saw people talking about it, and it's MLK Day, so it's been on my mind a little bit. This was done with Illuminance and is one of my absolute favorites. I still have not done the, what's the word I'm looking for? The fixative on this, but this is still one of my favorites. I didn't really like this picture that much, but it's really one of my all-time favorites. You can see the hair, and this one made me think that I'd like to do a video on how to do animal hair, and if you want to see that, you can let me know that down in the description below. So there's that one. And this is a different one. This one, I forgot what brand this is from. It should say in the back. This is Polycolor, but it doesn't say which Polycolor. There's like 20 different Polycolors. I'm going to say that this is probably Lyra Polycolor. I can't say for certain, but I think that that's what that one is the Lyra Polycolor. This one just says Luminance, no date on it. Anyway, I did want to talk about, I have seen a number of videos recently about African-American skin tones and issues along those lines. And I just wanted to talk about why I do it. It's partly because I'm me, and I have a free model that's always available for, you know, lifelike doings. But sometimes I use lighter or a different kind of tone. But I do it in part because I felt like when I first started coloring back in the spring of 2015, I didn't really see that many people doing it. And, you know, I felt like I had two choices. I could either whine about it or I could just do it myself. So then I started, you know, learning how to do it myself and being less afraid of doing skin tones. And I just started deciding that that's what I was going to do. And so that's what I've been doing with pretty much every brand that I've tested. Is I use, like, you know, that's what I do. This one is Polychromos, and it's also one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites. Another video I wanted to do is maybe do how to color white objects, like clouds, this little white doggy here. But let me know if you guys want to see that as well. So I really... I don't know. I just really decided that if it's something that I wanted to see and I wasn't seeing as much of it in the coloring world as I wanted to see, I would just do it myself. So I just started learning how to do it. And there's a lot of sort of discussion about it. And I think one of the things that get lost in the hustle is because we see people who are like experts. Like if you look at Retreat Simone, I think is how you say the name. And I'll give a link to his channel down in the description below. These are people who are experts and who are just really, really good at it. But the other thing I've learned is that it really does take a lot of practice and a lot of sort of making mistakes and things not coming out the way that you think they would. And so there's a certain amount of, you know, like putting in the work and being willing to make mistakes and being willing to have it not look the way you want it to. See the way the cheeks look on here? I don't really like that at all. And I was going for a darker tone, but this, I think this is from the Crayola pencils. Let me see. Yep, this is the Crayola Colorscapes pencils, and it didn't really turn out as dark as I wanted it to do. And just being willing to take the risk and take the chance and have it not come out perfectly and being okay with that. This, I think this is from the Blackwing colors, which are really, I was surprised at how good those pencils are, and I'll give a link to the Blackwing colors. So I really enjoyed this one as well. And this one was a little bit more challenging to do because the pencils only 12 colors in the line, I think. And one of them is silver, so it was a little challenging to try to get the exact tone that I wanted to. But I think, you know, like, I think a lot of people are afraid to do it because, yes, there is some, if you're not in America, there is some history of what, you know, is known as the minstrels, which is black minstrels, which were people who would, black and white people who would paint their skin, you know, really dark, and then behave in a stereotypical way and use that as a sort of a catalyst to begin, you know, violence, most notably from the movie Birth of a Nation in like the turn of the century, I think, one of their first feature films, if not the first feature film, and it was, you know, used to terrorize black people. So there's a lot of sort of history with it, and sort of like there's a lot of issues, especially since the representation is not at the level that a lot of people would like to see, that sometimes the images can be difficult for people. But like anything in this world, you have to be willing. This is one of my earliest ones, and this was done with the Polychromos, I believe. Yeah, this was done with Polychromos and Neocolor in 2015, and I wasn't too happy with this one. The cheeks were not quite right. The light and the shadow was a bit weird on the skin. It was fine on everything else, but on the skin, I was still trying to figure out how to do it. And so that's the other thing, is you have to be, you know, willing to try to figure out how to do it, and willing to essentially make mistakes and have things not turn out as you'd like to see. But like anything, it takes a little bit of practice. So I have enjoyed doing it. I have enjoyed practicing it. I definitely feel much better at it than I did when I did that first one. This one was, I think this is a Lyra, the Koh-i-Noor Polycolor. So then the other one, I don't know what the other one was. I thought that, anyway, but, you know, being willing to do it and being willing to make mistakes. This one is definitely much improved. You see the cheeks look a little bit better than they did in the other one. This is lighter skin, but I like the shadows and the other things that I did here. Once again, coloring in that white object and making it look like a white object instead of like you forgot to color it in. So, you know, it's for me, it's a lot of fun. For me, it was definitely challenging, especially at first. And this is another early one, and you can see, I'm not necessarily going to take these two out of the books. But you can see, I think this is Dick Blick. But you can see the sort of the progression between one of the early ones. Let me show you. One of the earlier ones, which was this one, and then one of the ones after I've been doing it for a while. And you can see some differences in the color choices that I made, also the tone. And just, you know, it's just a matter of like anything else in this world. Like if you know, you have to practice it, and no one starts off, you know, being particularly, you know, expert at this. This was definitely one of my earliest ones, because I remember I didn't want to fill in the skin because I didn't want to do it. But you have to be willing to take the risk. So I don't recommend you do this. I recommend that you actually take the risk and you actually do it. Anyway, so now we're moving on to other things that I've done. This is done in Albrechter watercolor pencils. I took this to Yosemite National Park, and I did this while I was at Yosemite National Park having afternoon tea at the Ahwahnee. And I think that's all the ones that are finished in here, but there's room for plenty more. And as I actually finish more pages, I haven't applied the fixative to these two. That's why they're here. So once I apply the fixative, they'll actually go in the regular pages. All right, so there's that. I think there's only one page in this one. This one I also got thanks to the patrons over on Patreon, and this one is much bigger. I believe this one is 11 by 14, I think is what this one is. It might, no, I think this is 11 by 14. You can see the size difference between the two. And see how big the size difference is. And I think this one doesn't, I think this one only has one page in here. Yeah, this only has the one page in here. The Joanna Basford books are pretty big, and don't think that they would fit in the other one, which is part of the reason why I got this, is to fit the Joanna Bassford book. Yeah, this wouldn't fit, see? It wouldn't fit in here. So I got these for the Joanna Bassford. Oh, you can't see, but this wouldn't, see, this wouldn't fit. So I got this for the Joanna Bassford books. But this one is also not finished. And my friend, fan, patron, and fairy godmother, Laura, wants me to finish this page. And I will finish this page. Hold on. Let me get it in here. And I will finish this page. But for right now, it's not finished yet. There's a little bit left to go here. So, so that's this. And this is brand new. I got this month from the patrons over on Patreon. I got this month. And last thing I want to show you is I just finished, well, it's not finished. I have like 3 more pages to go in my very first completed, almost completed journal, and I am super excited. So this is the various, and this is the Strathmore mixed media one, in hardcover, and it's 64 pages, 32 sheets. So it's also, like I said, it's my first completed one. So it's a mix of, this is Derwent Inktense. It's a mix of Inktense, watercolor pencil, colored pencil, marker. This is me trying to do my finger. I don't know how you think it looks, but my finger is, I had an accident a few years ago where my finger got dislocated. So my finger, this finger always looks a little funny now. That actually hurt when that finger got dislocated. And the other thing too is I'm also going to reshoot my video that I did for the GoFundMe campaign, just because I'm not sure that I did the best job of explaining my situation and how I film. You know what? I'm going to pause right now and show you a picture of what it looks like when I am filming and I'm not actually in front of the camera. All right, so now that you've seen the picture, you can see what my situation is and why I need to reshoot the video from the GoFundMe, because I'm trying to get a drafting table, and the table that I would like to get is $270, which is a lot, but it has like all sorts of features, like you can elevate it and lower it, and that's really one of the most helpful ones. It also folds and stores and is the right size for me that I need. Those of you who've been fans of me for a long time, you guys know that I have low vision. So I have basically, it's me and the tripod is in between me, and I can't do an overhead tripod setup because if I did that, all you would see is the back of my head, and nobody wants to see that. I don't even want to see that. That's so wrong. So for the early pages that I did in this book, I did not put in like the date, and I didn't always put in the medium, but for the later pages I put in the medium. So like for example, this one, I don't know, obviously I was playing with a brush. I don't know what brush I was playing with, and I don't remember what medium I was. My guess is going to be Inktense, but I don't know for sure. I did a lot of swatching in the early days because I was still working on reviews. You guys remember I did the review for the Derwent Graphitint, and there'll be a link up there to that review. This is the Caran d'Ache Neo Pastel, which I don't like those as much as I like the Sennelier Neo Pastels. Those are much better. And I was gonna try to do all like 100 and something colors of the Albrechter watercolor pencils, or you know, however many colors. I was going to try to do this big swatching thing, and I decided against it, and I ended up doing just this little mini swatches, because I got, this must have been around the time that I got, over the summer, I got the wood box set of the Albrechter watercolor pencil in the like a 48 wood box set, and I'll give a link to that one when I got it over the summer. And that was a lot of fun, but I wanted to make changes to the color selection that was included, because I always want to make changes to the color selection that was included. I'm not sure what this was. This was some kind of test I was running. This is my attempt of drawing the summer Starbucks cup, because this is the winter Starbucks cup, and then I tried to draw the summer Starbucks cup. you can see is not very good. Is my early stages. This I think is done with the Albrecht watercolor pencil. Yep, okay, so this is when I started writing it, Faber Castell Albrecht. So this is done with the Faber Castell Albrecht watercolor pencils. I'm not sure if I count that as finished. That's probably not finished. And this is, I'm not sure what I was trying here, but this looks like a mix of, I'm not sure what what I used here, but and I didn't write it down on this page. Another page of doing the swatches for the Albrecht watercolor pencils, because I wanted to, like I said, it came with 48 and I wanted to make changes to what came there. I think there was quite a lot of pinks, and I took out some pinks and I added some other colors. So this was for my Graphitin review. I can't believe I did 2 swatch pages, but I drew my little mini ketchup bottle. This is my attempt at learning how to color trees. As you can see, I did not start off well with my coloring trees. I don't even know what I used. Okay, I used Faber Castell Albrecht for that, and I probably did it on this page too. More Faber Castell Albrecht. I had more success. The success here being used in air quotes. Drawing the meat. I did some meat that I was eating one day and some erasers, and I think that's one of the sort of the recommended ways of learning how to draw, is to just draw what's near you. Okay, by this point I had started putting in the medium and the date, so we're all the way to September now. And you can see that there's definitely an increase in, you know, I did more in September. This one was done in December, so this must have been a page that either was blank or was partly blank. There's no information here on what this is and what the date is, but judging from the colors, I'm gonna say that this is probably, yeah, judging from the colors here, this is Daniel Smith watercolor paints, and I will do a review on Daniel Smith watercolor paints coming up. I just wanted to have finished a painting instead of just a coloring page, because I did do a coloring page, but my finished painting still needs work. This was my Sennelier Urban palette, so now we're getting into December, and you can see I tried to draw the stop sign from the other side, and at this point, by this point, I was putting in what color it was, I mean what brand it is, the date, as well as the colors that I used. I didn't always write down the exact colors that I used, but I did but I would do like a little mini swatches for the colors that I use. Now this I know is not 100%. This is probably water-soluble graphite, which is what I use. A lot of people use regular graphite. I use water-soluble graphite. So this is probably water-soluble graphite. I was probably going to do the sketching of the actual palette that I was using that day. But I didn't finish. This you guys might have seen when I did my super color review. So this is from the super color review that I did. So a lot of this I ended up using for review. This is for the Caran Museum Aquarelle review. I'm going to use this area. My friend Laura wants to see me do a mixing chart for the Caran Museum Aquarelle. So that's probably what I'm going to do, is use a mixing chart for that. This is the Neo Color, the special fall colors, and then this is the regular set of 10, and then this is, I guess, 10 or 15 fall colors. No, this is 10 fall colors and 10 of the regular colors, and I think some of the colors in the fall set are not in any of the other sets. That's why I got the fall set. And I do believe that this is one of my first sort of Neo Color only pieces, and I think most people use it for backgrounds, and I think that that's probably good, because I remember having a lot of problems getting the layering to stick and not lift, and I think these are some of the most lifting watercolors in terms of letting you do it. I've seen people do amazing stuff with it, and I have to assume that they use a watercolor palette and they, you know, do it that way. This is a little polar bear that I did, and this is done from 11/23 and 11/25. Did some Christmas trees, my Christmas tree attempt. Once again, doing white objects and making it look like a white object rather than like you just didn't fill it in. This is a sketch of the actual Albrechter wood box, the wood box that I got last summer. We are almost at the end. This is me waiting for the bus, and this is M gram, and it says 1/11/18. So this is from the M gram, and I didn't do for this one of putting in the colors that I used, which I'm not sure why I didn't do that, but I didn't do that. I did do that here for this pizza, and I believe that's the last page here. Yep, that is the last page. There's like 1, 2, 3 more pages plus a couple of blank pages in there that I'm gonna go back and fill in some blank sections like this. I'm probably gonna go back in and do something there, try to, you know, have this be as full as possible. But this is it. So I hope you guys like this. This did go on a little long. Thank you guys so much for watching. There will be a link to the GoFundMe for the drafting table, and I will see you guys next time. Oh, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and all that other stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Bye. Stewie, who's your buddy? Who's your baby Stewie? Oh, who's your baby Stewie? Who's your good buddy?